Department of Conservation, we have a mission of protecting fish, forest, and wildlife resources. So one way to accomplish that is to reduce the negative impacts that development has on habitat. Legacy Trails is a Habitat for Humanity development. It was developed using low-impact development practices. Those incorporate components of stormwater management. So the emphasis here is an urban development that does not increase the velocity or the volume of stormwater running off of the property.
So we designed this development with narrow streets to decrease the runoff, and the runoff that does happen goes into swales that then direct that stormwater runoff into detention basins. These basins we know clear very, very quickly after a storm event, so we're very proud of that feature. Just really trying to bring the families that live out here closer to nature on their own home site.
Communities have access to planning tools that they can use to help manage how they regulate new development, but also how they manage their own publicly owned land. Many of those planning tools can be found in a reference manual that was compiled for community conservation planning. It was primarily written for city planners, but it's a tool that's very useful for developers as well, or community members that want to become more engaged with nature in their communities.
Winterset began in 1989 when my father, David Gale, purchased about 200 acres here on the west side of Lee Summit. Green thumb kind of guy. He understood the natural beauty that was already existing in the property, and from the outset he aimed to develop it in a more light touch way than what was currently being practiced.
In 1989, when we took our initial position on the 230 acres, we had no concept of what this could become. We're now, Winterset, approaching 1,500 acres. We've been very lucky to be able to acquire additional development ground just when we needed it. We were blessed with this 80-foot deep valley going through it, so it lent itself to a natural land plan.
Yeah, behind me is the 100-acre wood, named after the Winnie the Pooh forest, and it is a little over 100 acres of green space that we've been able to preserve and connect our community trails to. And so basically wherever you live in Winterset, you have trail access within a few blocks from your house.
Been here for quite a while, came here especially for the schools at first, but I think I fell in love with kind of the natural aspect. You don't find a lot of places that are still somewhat wild, kind of trying to get away from the kind of the cookie cutter development, and there's been a great vision here, and we've just really enjoyed being here a lot. Even before we moved here, even before we closed on our first house, I came a few times just to check out the trails and fell in love with those pretty quickly. Everybody has their thing for a neighborhood. This is the piece that I really love the most.
In Winterset, we prefer not to use the word amenity. We prefer to use the word experience. That's the goal, to get people out on our trails, to get people planting natives, to have them understand our street names, which we name our streets after noted North American ecologists, botanists, naturalists. I have needed and relied on the Missouri Department of Conservation for insights, but MDC has been a tremendous resource for us. We couldn't have done this without the legitimacy and willingness to share that we've seen in MDC.
Sometimes development can actually enhance conservation. Good stormwater practices, so putting in native plants where there didn't used to be native plants, putting in trees so you have a canopy. And I think it's also educational for the people who live here.
I absolutely love the experiences in Winterset Valley. So we were looking for a community that had nature at its core and at its foundation, and Winterset was absolutely it. I feel like if more developers could figure out what that balance looks like in big urban spaces, we'd all be better off.
My job is so much fun. I had the good fortune to have this canvas put in front of us and treat it kindly and gently, and we think we have a cohort of folks, both in municipal governance and resident, that love what we've done. That's pretty cool. You know, most developers have overinflated egos, and absolutely I'm as guilty as anybody. This is a tremendous joy to walk through this and see what one can create.